Good morning, Wall Street winners. It is Tuesday, January the 14th, and we're about 21 minutes away from the open. If we take a look at the Bloomberg app, what we're going to see is that PPI, the producer price index, came in today at 0.2%. The expectation was 0.4%. And this is for the month of December. And what that means is that that is a good sign for the markets because it means the cost to produce goods in the US has come down. This is excluding food. What we'll be looking for in addition to this, because this is one of the data points that the Fed looks at in terms of reductions in interest rates, will be announced tomorrow, and that is the Consumer Price Index, CPI. So we're going to want to see a lower CPI number as well. So based on that, if we take a look at the markets, you're going to see that the markets are in the green across the board. They're enjoying this news, and it looks like we're going to start off with a green day. Tomorrow, we also have JP Morgan and a number of financials announcing pre-market. So we're going to get the first of an onslaught of next quarter's or this quarter's earnings starting to come out, all starting tomorrow. So looks like we're positive for the day or the morning as we head into the session. If we turn over to the Yahoo Finance app and take a look across the top, some different changes here, some noticeable changes. Crude is off today, so down 49 cents, so not a tremendous amount. It's been up and down. It's down near its lows for the morning session right now. Doesn't mean it's going to stay there, but that's where it's currently located or currently at. If we take a look with that PPI information, the 10-year bond yield has dipped a little bit. The Nasdaq futures we saw were up. The VIX has also come off, so now below 19 at 1867, and we want to see that get a little lower, which I believe we will for the remainder of the week. I think we're going to see this get down into the 15 or 16 range in terms of the VIX. If we scroll down into health and retail, you can see Costco had a tough day yesterday, off 12 and a quarter dollars. Lulu's making a comeback, up slightly yesterday, up slightly in the pre-market today, or a similar amount in the pre-market today. I think Dollar General is an interesting play right now with where people are spending their consumer discretionary dollars and the ability to get goods at a fairly reasonable discounted price out of that retail chain. Walmart as well has been off, was up around 93 a couple of days ago, now down around 91 and a half. Home Depot down slightly yesterday, up at the beginning, and then fell off and just kind of hovered and plateaued for the remainder of the day after around noon at 389. I think that's an interesting pickup right now going into earnings. I think Home Depot's going to have some pretty good earnings with the Christmas season, the holiday season, as well as where rates are. I think people, as we move into the spring, are definitely going to be looking at home renovations as opposed to moving. And then we get down into healthcare, and for the most part, healthcare had a great day yesterday. We're going to see some healthcare numbers in the next couple of weeks, so we'll see what is going on in that sector. Transport, JB Hunt climbing back up close to the 180s. Looks like it's going to get there based on where they are in the pre-market this morning. But CNR way down in the 144s. I think another good kind of long-term 2025 pick is CNR. I think we're going to see a lot of benefit out of this company here. I think there's going to be some growth. The tariffs will have an impact on goods if they get implemented between Canada and the US, but even if they are implemented, they still need to get from source to destination. So they're going to need a railway to transport them. And then we get down into oil, and oil had a pretty good day yesterday overall. It recoiled or expanded, if we're talking about it in a spring analogy like we did yesterday. It's pulling back a little bit today with where crude is, but I don't foresee that staying. I think that we're going to have another good day for oil today. It needs to come back. These oil refining oil company stocks have all been hit extremely hard, especially in the last quarter of 2024, and they're due for a rebound. So I expect that will continue. It may not continue today. Um, although I think it will, although they're down slightly, I think they'll come back, and I think they'll have a positive day today. So keeping an eye on that. And then we get into tech, and tech has been pummeled over the last couple of days, but it's coming out of that. And the Nasdaq futures are up. Almost everything on the NASDAQ is in the green in the pre-market. So again, this is an opportunity to look at some of those stocks where they're just below their normal trading range and they're good quality and they've got a quarterly earnings announcement coming up in the next, call it month. Microsoft is top of my list there with 417 price point. This is a $430 stock. So it will get to 430 within the next 2 weeks and probably pop higher than that after earnings, slightly longer than 2 weeks from now. And we look at ARM. That's one that has a ton of volatility, but one that I might be more risk averse to and stay away from. We scroll down a little further. My favorite in the list by far is Meta. Picking up Meta in the low 600s, I think, is going to end up being a steal when looking back on this at the end of the year in 2025. Um, Meta has so many things going for it. I think that the one thing that may set Meta back today is the news announcement that the Chinese government may actually look at a TikTok sale to Elon Musk, and whether that's a part of his company X, Twitter, or it's independent. I think his relationship with Donald Trump and the relationship that he's built with China through his Tesla endeavor or enterprise is certainly helping and working in his favor if those negotiations are moving forward and may lead to him acquiring TikTok. That would be a huge, huge acquisition for him and really make him a media magnet, more of a car magnet. So it's just it's awe-inspiring, but it's incredible to see how calculated and brilliant he can be behind the scenes, um, even while he kind of dangles carrots out at the general public with his different posts on Twitter and drives different levels of emotion with the tweets that he releases. And it's interesting to watch. It's like a master chess player at work. We've got others on the go here. Nvidia got hit hard in the last couple of weeks. This was up at 145 in the high 140s or mid 140s. It's coming back today. Looks like it's going to make back its gain from yesterday. I think you've long term being even just 1 year, which is not long term, but long term with Nvidia, I think you're going to be in good shape. Like this is a company that is doing incredible things with technology that is needed by all businesses right now. Google as well, down in the 192 range. I think it's got a ton of prospects. It's doing a lot more around AI than most people give it credit for. And it also has so many other divisions to it, Waymo being one of them. Just incredible technology and forethought that goes into the running of that company. And I think that it will just continue to grow. It may not be hockey stick growth like we've seen in past years, but it will be steady, consistent growth that will serve your portfolio well and make you money over time. Adobe, one I'm staying away from. I'm just not confident in the management team doing enough right now to combat what AI is doing to potentially displace customers in the long run with their software and tools. That to me is extremely worrisome on the Adobe side. So staying away from that. TSM dropping down to 201 yesterday. It's on the higher side. I can't call it a steal, but I think it's based on relative recent pricing up in the 220s. I think it's a very decent price to get in at. I think it's going to come back down into the 190s before earnings, and I would definitely pick it up in the 190s because I'm confident earnings will be good from TSM. And then we get into financials, and financials, in my opinion, are going to have a very good quarter, and most of them are going to rocket forward. Now, whether they can maintain that momentum for the remainder of the year remains to be seen because there are a ton of variables right now with everything going on. Um, and depending on where they're situated in terms of their focus, so big investment banks are very different than smaller regional banks in terms of the services they provide and where they generate revenue. Most of them obviously make money off of net interest income, which is the income earned on funds deposited by the consumers of the bank and then lent out by the bank. But I do believe that the big investment banks have the most likelihood of success and better earnings this year at this point with what we know in the economic landscape. And we're going to see the results come out this week from JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman. And I'm a big believer in all three of those right now and think that they are all going to shoot up in the 5 to 10% range between now and earnings, maybe 5% more than 10, but there is a potential upside there. We've heard throughout the fall that the um, bonuses for bankers are going to be bigger. They're making some cutbacks around staff that they don't feel is needed for efficiencies purposes. That's telling me that they're leveraging AI within their business to get rid of some redundancy, and they'll continue to eliminate those layers of maybe not redundancy, but those layers of inefficiency that our jobs perform today by humans and can be automated going forward. And this isn't just AI. So if you're fearful of AI replacing your job, jobs have been replaced by technology all the time, but then new ones also get created. So you just have to be on more of the leading edge of where things are going and focus on upskilling yourself and focus on adding to your skills repertoire so that you become or continue to be relevant within the ecosystem in which you operate. So that's where we are today on the 14th. Good luck with your trades. And if you're liking these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button.